Hi everyone, Paul here. Just thought it was time I did another video and showed you some of the things I've been working on more recently. So those that have followed my channel will have seen the DLT-19 heavy blaster rifle I did, and also the E11 blaster that I did from Star Wars. Big fan of Star Wars, so lots of my stuff is Star Wars, but I'm also a fan of Blade Runner. And so just recently I've been looking more in detail at Blade Runner blasters. Now, I would love to have the money to buy a Tomenasuke blaster. Tomenasuke is a Japanese company who make absolutely superb prop replicas of the original Rick Deckard blaster from the original Blade Runner film. Fantastic. However, at the moment at least, they're a bit out of my price range. They're very pricey. Really can't afford to get one. So I started looking around at what other options there might be. And I've invested in a couple of different original movie blasters from the Blade Runner movie. So the first one is this one. Now this is it's a limited edition Blu-ray prop. So comes with the limited edition Blu-ray in a nice package. And when this comes originally, the blaster is fixed to this stand. Now, for me, that's never going to do. So I removed it from the stand. Now let's talk a little bit about how it was fixed to the stand. There was actually a metal thread through here that went into this upright piece of the stand, and the butt plate had a plug moulded into it which sat in this part of the stand. So those had to be cut through and removed, which I managed to do successfully. I believe there is a video around on the internet of somebody trying to do this where actually the grip breaks away from the rest of the blaster. So what you get in terms of the blaster is a very nice solid resin cast blaster. None of the parts move on it. It is purely really a decorative blaster. It does have working LEDs. Now the original blaster has a little switch here, a little white switch, which operates the LEDs. This had the same. Within maybe 10 minutes of playing with it, I'd managed to break the switch. So I now have a second switch just inside here. There's a battery compartment here. It takes, I think, 3 little button batteries. I've put a separate switch in here and just rewired the LEDs to that. This little cover holds on with magnets, holds quite nicely. So you get 2 LEDs on each side. The single LED on the magazine feed doesn't light up. The green LEDs don't light up. Apart from that, the functionality on it is absolutely zero. The triggers don't move, there's no hammer, you can't open the cylinder, the bolt action lever doesn't work. It's pretty basic in terms of in terms of what it will do. Now I did do, it comes painted, obviously it's supposed to come out of the box looking like Rick Deckard's blaster, and they've done a pretty good job, I think. I did do some additional weathering which involved my usual weathering of a little bit of dry brushing, then a pass with, in this case it was MIG dark brown for green filter. That just tones back the silver of the dry brushing I did a little bit. Then very lightly dry brushed again over some of the highlights just to bring them back out in the silver. And then to get that grime in all the little nooks and crannies, on this one I actually used some MIG dark earth weathering pigment. I think it's come up okay. The grips on this are a nice sort of deep brandy colour, I suppose you'd call it. On the original blaster, when it was shown at Worldcon a few years ago, the grips have got some sort of white residue in the checkering. I suspect it's probably where somebody at some point has tried to polish it, either with something like Brasso or a plastic polish. So I wanted to have the residue in the grips on this as well, so I went over it with some plastic polish and then just lightly wiped it out and left some residue in the checkering on the grips. That's pretty much it for this one. Yeah, nice little blaster. I think cost me around 150 quid, but I got the Blu-ray as well for that price. Not bad at all. The stand is very nice. On the bottom it has all the details, and there's a limited edition number. This is 1651. It's obviously marked up Blade Runner 2049. That's the new movie. This blaster's used in the new movie as well. I covered the contact points for the blaster with some self-adhesive black felt, and it kind of sits very nicely on its stand. It's fairly secure. It's not going to go anywhere, and yeah, I think for what you pay for it, it looks pretty good. It's not too bad. However, you know me and my detail, and I wanted something a little bit more accurate, if you like. So I looked around and I found a seller on Etsy. I'll put a link in the description. I found this seller on Etsy who did this really nice I think it's a plastic or resin cast. It's not 3D printed. Version of Deckard's blaster. Now this has more functionality. Both the triggers move. The hammer doesn't fire on this one. The bolt is functional, so you can open the bolt, which is nice. The cylinder opens. Now the guy, when this arrived, it had 5 plastic rounds in it. The base of this gun is a Bulldog 44 special pistol revolver. So I got some genuine 44 special inert rounds. They're a bit heavier, so they add a little bit of extra weight to it. Now, when I first tried them in here, they did fit, but they were very tight. So I've just loosened the cylinders out a little bit so that they're easier to get in. Cylinder closes. There's a little magnet in there which holds the cylinder shut. It would be nice if the cylinder catch worked, but it doesn't on this one. So yeah. But there's lots of other nice little detailing in it. Now this one, the switch on the side does work. Turns on the LEDs. We've got 2 on each side, and also the centre one in the bottom. This, likewise, the magazine is held in with magnets, and you can see there's two CR2032 batteries in there. There's also another little switch. If you turn that, that's held in with magnets, but now we also have the green LEDs work. Now, I don't think you ever see them working in the film. Interestingly, the original blaster, when it was shown at Worldcon, does seem to have some sort of wiring going up that may connect into those. But anyway, it's a nice little feature to have those working as well, I think. Yeah, everything functions on it. The grip has all the detailing inside. You can't quite see it on this video, I don't think, but there's like the mainspring and everything, and the original Bulldog grip, you can see through the grip. The grips on this one are a little bit lighter. I think I'd like it if they'd been a little bit darker, but they kind of work. This one also came in this very nice paint job. I still wanted to add a bit of weathering, so again it's had my usual dry brushing with Tamiya flat aluminium, very thin coat on this one of the dark brown filter wash, and then weathering powders. I had to pay particular attention. Some of the screws that came with it, particularly this front one and the ones around the grip, were bright metal. They were chromed, I think, and I wanted those to look a little bit more worn and dirty and maybe even rusty. So they had some heavier applications of the wash, and while the wash was still wet, I stippled some pigment into those as well, dark earth pigment again, and same with these little screws along the top, just really to give it that sort of used look. I wanted it to look used but not abused. The original now looks really quite battered, shall we say. It's great to see it, but I'm sure over the years it's had quite a bit more wear and tear applied, and of course it was used in filming, so was probably beaten up quite a bit there. So yeah, this is my sort of latest Deckard blaster, if you like. Really nice. I love the functionality on it. I love that the bolt works, and that you can access the cylinder on it. It's yeah, really nice replica. As I say, I'd love to have a Tomenasuke. That would be my kind of ultimate, I think, really. But both of these come in at less than half the price of one of those, so I think these are, for the money I've paid for them, are really good, decent replicas. So there we go. That's my current Blade Runner blaster collection. I'm you know me, I'm likely to get more as and when I see them. When I do, I'll post some more videos and let you see what I've been up to. Thanks again. I hope you like the video. If you do, give me a like, and maybe even subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching.